CEO Andy Byron has officially resigned after the Coldplay incident the other day. If you've been living under a rock, this has taken over the world. Basically, him and his mistress, who actually is the HR chief at the same company, were caught going to a Coldplay concert the other day. Here's the video.
Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Uh-oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
Welcome back to Fame Drop. Stop everything, because what started as a chill Coldplay concert just exploded into a full-blown corporate circus. And somehow, Chris Martin, the soft-spoken guy who sings Fix You and used to be married to Gwyneth Paltrow, is right in the middle of the storm. Yep, that Chris Martin ended up triggering a chain reaction that's got the internet buzzing like it's New Year's Eve. It all went down at one of Coldplay's shows when the jumbo screen panned to Andy Byron, CEO of a billion-dollar tech giant, sitting real close to Kristen Cabot, who just happens to be the head of HR at his company. One big issue though, they're both married, just not to each other. When the camera caught them, it was like someone hit pause on their lives. They looked shook, frozen like they just got hit with a search warrant in front of a stadium full of people. And then, totally unaware of the digital firestorm he was about to spark, Chris Martin cracked a casual joke into the mic. Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. Boom! That one-liner hit like a slap in a courtroom. Word on the street is that Andy Byron lost it. Some folks say he marched backstage fuming, mad enough to go straight to Coldplay's team, maybe even confront Chris Martin himself. And just like that, this turned into a real-life scandal that feels straight out of primetime drama. Tech bosses, rock stars, and headlines you can't make up.
More reaction to the story everyone's talking about. The CEO caught on kiss cam at a Coldplay concert, snuggling with his head of human resources. Today, there are serious questions whether they will be forced to leave their jobs. Allison Hall has the latest.
Now let's really unpack it, because it only gets more chaotic. Picture this. You're Andy Byron, billionaire brainiac behind a mega tech company called Astronomer, which deals with big data, fancy code, and super complex algorithms. You hit up a Coldplay concert with Kristen Cabot, your company's head of HR. You're thinking it's a low-key night, maybe a little vibe session, way up in the cheap seats. But here's the kicker. Both of you are married, just not to each other. You figure nobody'll notice you in the upper deck, right? Wrong. The camera guy zooms in, tosses your face on the stadium screen, and boom, you're looking like the next Bachelor hometown episode. And you two, snuggled up tight like prom night. The second that crowd saw it, jaws dropped. You could feel the panic. It looked like they just got caught joyriding the company jet. And then comes Chris Martin's mic drop moment. Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. Crowd loses it, laughing, cheering, phones flying up everywhere. But backstage, it's chaos. Online detectives went into overdrive.
Do you think if they had not tried to hide, Coldplay would have moved on?
100%. I think if they acted natural, no one would have thought twice. What a cute couple. I mean, I'm sure people in their inner circle might have caught something, but I definitely wouldn't have posted that video if the reaction wasn't the way that.
Within hours, the internet had receipts, LinkedIn profiles, wedding photos, old press clips, everything. Reddit turned into full CSI mode. Twitter, meltdown central. And when folks realized Kristen was the chief people officer, aka the head of HR, oh, it just took everything to another level. Oh, the irony. Kristen Cabot, the head of HR, the very person paid to keep things professional, is now front and center in one of the messiest office scandals of the year. And it didn't stop there. Internet detectives didn't just stop at LinkedIn. Someone tracked down Andy Byron's wife on Facebook. Small, quiet profile with maybe 300 friends. She probably thought she was under the radar until strangers started tagging her left and right with stuff like, just in case you missed this. Then boom, she drops Andy's last name from her profile like it was burning her fingers. No Instagram posts, no press release, not a single word, just silence. And honestly, that hit harder than any statement could have. As for Kristen's husband, still nothing public. But insiders say he found out the same way we all did, scrolling through the internet. Total humiliation, and not just in their friend group. This thing went international. People from all over started chiming in. Then, just when you think Andy might come out and own it like a grown-up, a so-called apology letter starts floating around online. And man, it's something else. In the letter, Andy supposedly apologizes to his wife, family, and his team, saying the moment felt private and that they were violated. Then, brace yourself. He signs off with Coldplay lyrics. "Lights will guide you home, and I will try to fix you." Nah. He did not just quote the same song Chris Martin was singing when he got exposed. The internet dragged him for that. Comment sections lit up like fireworks. Some folks were clowning the letter so hard, you'd think it was satire. But things didn't stop at jokes and memes. According to multiple sources, Andy was heated, not just annoyed, full-on meltdown mode. And apparently, he wasn't just mad at the camera guy. Word is, he allegedly blamed Chris Martin personally. Yup, that one harmless joke Chris tossed out from the stage turned into a PR nightmare. Rumors started flying that Andy, or someone from his inner circle, actually reached out to Coldplay's management. They supposedly claimed Chris's little comment turned a private moment into viral chaos. Some even said Andy pushed for a retraction. Wait, what? You wanted Chris Martin to come back on stage and be like, "Sorry folks, didn't mean to blow up their secret date night." Be serious. Then it gets even messier, because a Reddit user claimed Andy tried to send a legal notice, saying the video was filmed without his consent. But hold up. You were at a public concert in the middle of 60,000 people during a live stream with cameras literally everywhere. You don't get to cry privacy when you're cuddled up with your coworker in full view of the world.
In a new statement from Astronomer, they said they are committed to the values and culture that have guided us since their founding. And Andy Byron has tendered his resignation and the board of directors has accepted. They were running an internal investigation into the relationship of the two because no one seemingly knew up until this point. And let me just say, if they just played it off and didn't run away from the camera when they were on the Jumbotron or whatever at this concert, no one would have ever looked into it. But because of the reaction and what Chris Martin said, of course, then people did digging and found out that these two are coworkers and they are really high up, and he was cheating on his wife with the HR chief at his company that he founded. Also, a new Page Six article came out about Kristen Cabot, who is the HR chief, and whether or not she was married when this happened. A Facebook post in 2024 showed that she had a ring on her finger, and some property records obtained by the post showed that her and her, I guess, ex or current husband were co-residents of a New Hampshire home. I don't know, this whole thing is such a mess.
Meanwhile, Chris Martin, not a peep. No tweet, no interview, no quick statement, nada. And honestly, that's how you play it. He was just doing his thing, entertaining the crowd with a harmless joke. No way he could have known he was about to drop a nuke on this billionaire's personal life. And let's be real, Chris doesn't owe anybody an apology. If the worst thing that happened is Coldplay accidentally exposed something shady, then maybe the problem wasn't the joke. Maybe the problem was getting caught. Now let's talk about the fallout at Astronomer, the tech company at the eye of this storm. Word is, the company's in crisis mode. Kristen Cabot has straight up vanished from their website, quietly scrubbed, either got cut or placed on ice. And this isn't just online gossip anymore. Sources say a full-blown internal investigation is underway. They're digging into everything. Did anyone use company money for side trips? Were company rules broken? Are there bigger ethics violations under the surface? This isn't just drama anymore. It's corporate cleanup mode. Did the other execs know and just look the other way? That's the million-dollar question, because while Andy's still technically the CEO, word is the board's been meeting behind closed doors. And let's be real, when the board starts whispering in private, it's never a good sign. Once the scandal broke in the press, things got ugly, fast. People started questioning everything. Was this just a one-time slip or a long-running office fling hiding in plain sight? The internet put on its detective hat again. They started digging into old company event photos, past conference clips, flight logs, everything. Even corporate retreat videos from years back resurfaced, and folks online were pointing out little moments where Andy and Kristen looked a bit too cozy for just co-workers. And here's where it got spicy. Employees inside Astronomer started leaking info anonymously. One after another, insiders claimed that Andy and Kristen had been traveling together off the grid for months. Somebody even posted that they were booking so-called strategy meetings in cities with zero clients. Strategy for what though? That doesn't sound like data science. It sounds like something else entirely. Then came the real blow. Backlash inside the company. Morale on the floor. People said the entire situation shattered trust. HR is supposed to protect employees, not protect the boss's secrets. And with Kristen in charge of workplace conduct, the hypocrisy was impossible to ignore. Some employees even said they'd reported sketchy stuff to HR before, and it all got brushed off. Now, everyone's asking, was this a random scandal or the tip of a bigger cover-up? And just when you thought it couldn't get more chaotic, board members are now demanding full transparency. They're talking about pulling everything: expense reports, private emails, shared calendars. If it's digital, it's getting reviewed. The concern isn't just about ethics anymore. It's about money. Investors are getting nervous, and they're not being quiet about it. They want answers yesterday. Oh, and it gets even messier. Screenshots of Andy's now infamous apology letter have apparently made their way into investor group chats. And word is, it didn't help. One source said it made him look more like a moody songwriter than a serious CEO. That's a major red flag when you're trying to calm down shareholders, not send them a mixtape. As for Kristen, still totally silent. Not a single post, not even a cryptic quote, nothing. Rumor is, she's already got legal representation and is staying quiet on purpose. Smart move or damage control? And Andy? He's trying to pretend like it's business as usual. But behind the scenes, insiders say he canceled 2 big public appearances at the last minute, including a major keynote at a tech leadership summit. You don't just bail on events like that unless something serious is going down behind the curtain. Public trust in Astronomer is nosediving. The company used to be known for clean data, innovation, and sharp leadership. Now, it's become a trending topic on gossip threads and social media feeds, right next to reality stars and celebrity breakups. That brand reputation they worked so hard to build, it's getting shredded in real time. Even folks deep in the tech world are weighing in now, saying this scandal might set off major changes in how HR relationships get handled across the entire industry. And while Andy's probably praying this whole mess fades away, the video's still live and clocking millions of views. There are memes, remixes, parodies, you name it. The internet's got receipts and trust. It does not forget. Let's call it what it is. When a CEO gets exposed in a public scandal with the head of HR, it's not just a messy headline, it's a full-on investor emergency. Because this isn't some harmless office gossip. This is the kind of chaos that ends up on the front page of business sites and T-blogs. And the cherry on top? Kristen's the one who writes the company's ethics handbook. You really can't make this stuff up. This is the same person who probably led company-wide workshops about maintaining professional boundaries. She was out here preaching policy on Monday, then showing up hugged up with the CEO on a Coldplay Jumbotron by the weekend. Imagine sitting in one of her seminars, writing down notes about workplace respect, only to see her up there like she's starring in the next episode of Real Housewives, Silicon Valley. And the vibe on that Jumbotron? It wasn't giving oops or one-time mistake. People online were quick to clock it. This looked way too comfortable, like it wasn't their first Coldplay concert together, more like their third. Same side of the stadium, same cuddle routine, just bad luck that the camera caught them this time. Now Andy's stuck in what you call a triple threat disaster. If he stays at Astronomer, folks will keep throwing side eyes at his leadership. If he steps down, that basically screams, yeah, I did it. And if he actually tries to take legal shots at Coldplay, he'll just get roasted even harder and end up as an even bigger meme than he already is. No matter what move he makes, it's a trap. There's no clean exit here. His marriage, most likely a wrap. His rep, torn apart. And inside the office, word is employees are dragging him in Slack threads, making jokes behind closed doors. That kind of embarrassment hits different when it's coming from your own team. Meanwhile, the internet has gone full support mode for Andy's wife. Strangers are out here hyping her up with comments like, get that divorce, and take half queen, you earned it. And honestly, not a single person is arguing. The energy is all hers right now. But here's where Andy really messed up. He underestimated the internet. This isn't one of those scandals that fades in a few days. This is meme fuel for life. It's already embedded into TikToks, Reddit threads, and probably HR training slides across the country. And get this, somebody even made a remix video of Chris Martin singing Fix You with the concert footage of Andy and Kristen playing in the background. That's not just a scandal, that's a cultural moment. And Andy, he's the main character, whether he likes it or not. It's savage out there. LinkedIn has turned into a roast session with people dropping Coldplay lyrics under Andy Byron's old job updates like they're writing diss tracks. One commenter even said this is the worst case of workplace ethics since Enron. And get this, caught by a jumbotron at a Coldplay concert is now being used as slang for getting exposed in public. It's become a whole phrase. Over on Twitter, or X, or whatever Elon's calling it these days, the roasting is non-stop. One tweet blew up. Cheated on his wife, exposed by a stadium cam, and now mad at Chris Martin like he's the marriage police. Another went viral saying, plot twist. Chris was singing Fix You directly to Andy's wife the whole time. The internet? Brutal. And let's be honest, it never loses. PR teams can't erase memes. Lawyers can't unsend screenshots. Once it hits the timeline, it's out there forever. Andy can try to keep it moving, but this whole saga, it's carved into internet history with a Sharpie. And now, give it up for the true MVP of this digital disaster, the camera guy at that Coldplay concert. Whoever you are, you deserve a bonus, an award, maybe even your own docuseries. All it took was one zoom in on a random couple and boom, you accidentally set off a multi-million-dollar scandal. That's legendary status. Seriously, let's break it down. One smooth camera pan led to a corporate meltdown, a likely divorce, an HR investigation, and a meme avalanche that refuses to die. And if that wasn't enough chaos, now there's even whispers of tension between Andy and Chris Martin. Yup, a single second of concert footage has Andy Byron's entire career hanging by a Coldplay lyric. The layers of irony here are almost too perfect. Think about it. The CEO of a tech company all about data visibility gets completely exposed by a literal spotlight. You can't script this. It's like the universe said, oh, you want transparency? Bet. Pure poetic justice. Chef's kiss level. Now maybe that camera guy didn't know who Andy was at all. Maybe he just saw a couple getting close and zoomed in without a second thought. Or maybe he did know. Imagine if it was a former employee just vibing in the control room. Petty revenge in full effect and perfect timing. I'm not saying it was an inside job, but if Netflix drops a doc called Zoom the Camera That Exposed a CEO, you already know it's hitting top 10 on day one. This wasn't just a scandal. It became a digital earthquake. Andy's now a cautionary tale, and the rest of us, we're watching the fallout unfold like it's the finale of a drama series we never knew we needed. One thing's for sure, we owe that camera operator everything. Without that one bold zoom, Andy Byron would still be up in those boardrooms, giving robotic speeches and playing the polished exec. Meanwhile, all this mess would have stayed hidden behind glossy corporate glass. But that camera didn't just catch a moment, it dropped a digital truth bomb. So what's the real lesson here? Simple, don't cheat. But if you're gonna cheat, and seriously, don't. Maybe don't do it at a sold-out concert in front of a massive jumbotron, run by a camera operator who clearly wasn't asleep on the job. They spotted something shady in row 312 and hit that zoom like a pro. That one close-up changed everything. Andy thought he was playing it low-key in the nosebleeds. Turns out, he scored a front-row ticket to his own downfall. And Chris Martin, totally unaware, just trying to hype the crowd, drops a random one-liner and accidentally kicks off one of the most chaotic corporate collapses of the year. This story has everything: betrayal, irony, drama, and a packed stadium full of witnesses. If Netflix isn't already developing this into a limited series, they're sleeping on a gold mine. So now, the questions begin. Did Andy really go after Coldplay behind the scenes? Should Chris Martin say anything at all? And who's actually to blame here? If you're still tuned in, you know what to do. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. I want to know your take. Was the camera guy the real MVP? Did Chris do anything wrong? Is Andy done for good?